What is up? Kyuzo here, and it is time for another build diary, and this time it is Chieftain Fire Trap. So while I was leveling the Trickster, I was leveling with Fire Trap for quite a bit before I did the respec to Essence Drain, and with only a 4-link, I was absolutely destroying everything, including bosses. And I planted this idea in my head that someday I'm gonna make a Fire Trap build, because this seems pretty damn good. However, since I already have a Trickster, and arguably when it comes to damage over time, nothing beats a Trickster, I wanted to do something else. My first choice was Elementalist, since it has a lot of damage and AoE, and we get that juicy fire pen by running Herald of Ash. But in the end, I just didn't like Elementalist, and I thought, Chieftain's got fire damage, and fire damage over time, and some fire pen, And for what I had set out to do, Marauder actually fit the passive tree perfectly, because I wanted to run a comb, stack life, and as much life regen as possible. It is far more perfect than Witch. The only problem is that Ramako is literally the only thing on the Ascendancy I benefit from. Hinekora gives me Fire Leech, but I can't actually leech as a trapper. The Fizz as extra fire doesn't really do anything because Fire Trap doesn't have physical damage to begin with. The Totem Node does nothing for obvious reasons. However, Tassalio is actually kind of perfect for what I'm doing exactly. I'm kind of forced to grab Tahoa and Valako as my last ones, which honestly I don't feel bad about because every time I use a fire skill such as Fire Trap, I have a chance of gaining an endurance charge. And it would put me at 4 maximum endurance charges, which with Valako gives me an additional 2% life regen for a total of, I believe, 14% life regen. So as I started leveling, I ran into 2 problems. The first one is Fire Trap is level 12, so I need to do something before that. The second is I have absolutely no damage nodes nearby. No trap, no fire, no spell, no nothing. There is Arsonist at around level 15 or so, but after that I'm basically have to go all the way to the top to the Witch Tree. I solved the first problem by choosing to level with Frostblades. Now the second problem would be, when do I swap to Fire Trap exactly? Because I don't want to respec a million melee nodes, even if it meant for faster leveling, so I decided to run with Fire Trap just about immediately at 12. Because, you know, I have a Tabla, I have +1 Fire Wands, how bad can it be? Well, turns out really, really, really bad. I opted to play with Multitrap for more AoE until I could get the actual AoE nodes on the tree, and I didn't really start doing acceptable damage until around level 40-ish, but from there on it actually got better and better. I decided to go Blood Magic because I had mana regen issues and I wasn't ready to invest that in the passive tree, nor did I have room for Clarity. The only problem now is I can't really run Blasphemy Flammability along with Malevolence, so I squeezed that in with the Curse on Hit Wave of Conviction, which suits me fine because the only time I would really need the extra damage would be rares or bosses anyway. So once in maps, I cleared maps really satisfying. Even the Delirium's pre-nerfed felt really good. However, map bosses turned out to just absolutely refuse to die. I had an 82 Drox the other day, and after about 20 minutes I decided to pop my friends list and ask for help because I wasn't about to stay there for another 2 hours. I've been experimenting a bit with Flame Surge as my single target. This, of course, means I either have to weapon swap or drop my combs, and while Flame Surge did make a difference, it wasn't really that good enough. So the final verdict, map clear and survivability, really good. Boss killer, fucking now! So, we are currently 87, we are throwing stuff, and my current setup is as follow. So we got a Searing Touch. I wanted to use a Searing Touch. I don't really know why. It was like the easiest and cheapest thing out there. 6 links are actually really cheap. I think they're only an Exalt, but I wanted like a really good roll without having to spend Divines. So I managed to find this for few chaos, and then I just managed to 6-link it in like 3 fusing, so yeah, that works. We got a combs, obviously. They're not too bad, actually. I got this for, I think, 80 chaos, so they're actually not that terribly bad. I got a fire trap burn damage enchant for, I think it was like a 10 chaos or something dumb. And then I chaos spammed into this. The rest is just rares, nothing special. Resist wherever we can get. Don't mind the wed, I just haven't actually rerolled the things. The ring, I needed massive amounts of dexterity, or so I thought. So we got this. Life resist, yeah, life resist. Like, I didn't really need resist on a boot, so I just got these. And then crafted cannot be frozen. I was running with dream fragments because I don't have room for freeze immunity anywhere. So I decided to put that on boot, and since I was gonna go blood magic anyway, I decided to drop the dream fragments, because while the extra mana and mana regen is really nice, once I'm blood magic, I don't really have use for it. So I wanted a different ring. Oh yeah, as you can see, I have focused a lot of on chaos res on this guy, so we're actually capped on chaos res. Got these gloves. I think these gloves is what kind of ruined my amulet, because I bought the amulet first, and then these were like the only gloves I managed to find. So yeah, we only need like 100, maybe 103 dexterity. We're using Forbidden Taste because we have 8k life, and with a normal life flask, we probably need like 2. If we're using seedings, we probably need 2 or 3 if we go down low to fill up again. So this one's really nice. So this is so we take chaos damage per second while using it, which we mitigate straight up by just simply having life regen, but I don't want to sacrifice my life regen too much, so I decided to get chaos res as well. Got a Wise Oak, granite with staunching, and a quartz. Quartz is really, really important, especially in Delirium. Gem setup. Before we forget that important things, we got Fire Trap with Combustion, Unbound Elements, Deadly Ailments, Ignite Prolive, and Burning Damage. So this is a burn damage setup, because that's how I want it. We then have Orb of Storms with increased crit for Elemental Overload. We got a cast when damage taken Steel Skin. We got Flame Dash with Malevolence, Smoke Mine, and Second Wind. I just really like moving around with Smoke Mine, Flame Dash, so. We got Wave of Conviction. We got a Wave of Conviction with Flammability and Curse on hit. We self-cast that. We also self-cast our Orb of Storms. I tried swapping in Arcane Surge in here with these, but I kind of forgot that when we're blood magic, we don't actually spend mana, so rip. I have messed around a little bit with Detonate Dead, and it turns out if you're not a Necro, Detonate Dead is absolute garbage. I bought a Thread of Hope, so that I could put it in here, and then snag Divine Judgment, but I don't know, it's not really worth it, I guess, to sacrifice a whole jewel slot to get Divine Judgment for something you can basically get on one jewel itself. And I can get elemental damage from Divine Fury and Wrath, but yeah, ended up not being quite worth it. I crafted these for increased AoE and elemental damage, and we also get the fire exposure, which is basically like a flammability on Blasphemy. And I crafted this too with fire damage over time, fire damage in AoE, more damage over time. Problem is, I can't justify sacrificing anything on the tree to use a cluster jewel. For this build, I feel cluster jewels aren't really worth it. But yeah, so we could grab all the fire shit up here. We grab the AoE in Witch. We also grab the staff AoE, so we have a fuck ton of AoE actually. Life regen, fight with chaos, more AoE, more life regen, especially this one over that one. Where else do we have life regen? I don't think we do. I kind of wanted to go to Golem's Blood, but it's too far, and I kind of wanted to go in here, but it's not really worth it. I'm 2 points away from Shaper, so I might get that in the next few levels. But jewels, you just trap damage, fire damage over time is the important one, then burn damage, and then you can fill in with whatever, like trap damage. I think you have spell damage somewhere. And that's also trap. Needed the dex, so well, that was before I actually got the gear, but it's not a bad, awful jewel, so I still keep it. Yeah, damage over time, life burn. Can get spell damage wearing a staff. Just straight up fire damage, but yeah. As for Pantheon, I haven't actually like grabbed anything. I haven't even thought about it. I've been too frustrating to figure out my single target to even deal with this, but we definitely want stun immunity from this. We are kind of technically 3 points away from unwavering, so it could be worth getting that. As for small ones, doesn't really matter. I guess like if you want to like stay still and face tank, solo Tsukahama maybe. Yeah, so in the next few days, I'm gonna swap to Burning Arrow because I'm not about to give up on this guy. I've already tried Detonate Dead, it was shit. Next, I want to try Burning Arrow because I think it's gonna be way better than this. I did try Burning Arrow with Softbow on a similar setup and tree like this between Metamorph and this league. But this, while the build felt pretty good, the single target was absolute dog shit. So what I'm gonna try is I'm gonna use a Tempest along with a Stormfire and just stack lightning damage. It's basically similar to the setup Massel did on his Burning Arrow Trickster last league, except I'm gonna be Trickster. And I'm gonna have like far more survivability. So when I'm ready, I will have a part 2 of this Igniter ready for you. Can't say when. So I'm gonna have to buy probably completely brand new gear on most of my pieces. But until then.